So I say Judge White in California just blocked this bill, and I guess I don't know what the bill is. Okay. What about if you self-deport from your law firm? I mean, sorry. What if you self-deport yourself from 2022? You can go back to America. All right. So, unfortunately, once you self-deport, it's very important to get legal advice before taking any action. And it's your right. You need to understand what your rights are in order to understand that what actions you take today, how will it affect you in 10 years, right? So if you self deport, what they may not be telling you is, oh, okay, can you hear me now on Instagram? Let me see. Can you hear me on, um, let's see. Can you hear me? Somebody tell me if you can. All right. Okay, so the thing about it is that once you self-deport, though, you are going to face the same immigration consequences. You don't get additional benefits like, oh, they're going to waive any kind of inadmissibilities or they're going to allow you to apply. Oh, great. I'm so glad, Ellie, that you can hear me. Thank you. And on Instagram, just let me know. Yes. Okay, you can hear me. Good, good, good. Now we're on track. So I was just talking to my friends here TikTok where I'm answering questions. So you're putting your questions in the comments. And the question here is, what about self-deport? If you self-deported from 2022, can you go back to America? It depends, right? It depends on whether you did accrue any unlawful presence, what happened that caused you to self-deport, what's in your background, that can possibly cause an inadmissibility in the future? Do you even have those kinds of issues? In your case, I would say you should definitely give us a call and start with that free initial evaluation. And that would be able to tell us if we can help you with a potential option and then move forward from there. But we would have to understand your facts to be able to help you with that. I already answered the question about the individual hearing. So you filed an I-130, I-485. Now you have an individual hearing for July 20th, 2025. What should you expect? So I can tell you with the individual hearing, they have reserved the courtroom for you, your attorney, opposing counsel, the government counsel, the judge, the court reporter, and maybe an interpreter if that's needed. That's the basics, right? They do reserve about an hour and a half to 3 hours depending on the complexity of the case. But in your case, what should you expect in regards to the decision, what questions you're gonna get? That depends on whether you are going through adjustment of status before the judge. Is it based on marriage? That's the first thing. And by now, you should definitely have a strategy going in and be prepared for that, or be aggressively preparing for that individual hearing. If it's a marriage based adjustment of status and you got married while your deportation was in process, then you're going to have to meet you're going to have to prove that you have bona fide marriage by clear and convincing evidence. That's a higher bar to meet. And the judge will then decide whether you have met that standard and either grant you the benefit, and that's permanent residence or adjustment of status, or whether the judge's decision could go either way. But the decision you can get is going to depend on the strength of your case, the facts in your case. And by now, I would think that you have an attorney, but if you don't, you definitely need to make sure you have your attorney. Um, and all the best, all the best. Prepare, stay calm, know your truth, and going there and do your thing. Are they starting to call people for interviews? It depends on the case types, but marriage based, yes, they're doing interviews again. What about if you self deport? So I answered that. Oh, so you're married to a US citizen, so you're doing adjustment of status before the court. So you just have to make sure you have all your evidence, you have witnesses, you've lined up everything for your case. Do you think you can travel with parole? That's what it is there for. However, the risk right now is high. As I was saying before, there's really is nobody that is safe. So, for those of you who just joined us on Instagram and YouTube, we're talking about the current news. And the current news right now is that the Trump administration has moved terminate all the visas for international students at Harvard University in retaliation to Harvard's refusal to comply with the administration's demands. The latest is that the Department of Homeland Security was asking for the names of all the undocumented students at the Harvard University, and they refused. After they refused, they terminated the CVIS, which is basically allows them to facilitate the student visa process. So that has the last I checked, that is what is happening. And this is showing a pattern. Now, we also have 350,000 Venezuelans whose TPS status is about to expire. They will no longer have protection because the Supreme Court has said that they can terminate the status of the Venezuelans through the TPS program. The reason that they can do that and why it was likely that that was going to be the decision of the court was because TPS is a discretionary benefit that is made at the discretion of the president or the Secretary of Homeland Security. And so it is not written in the books the same way that paths to green card are written in as statutes, as laws that either have to be repealed by Congress, but they cannot be something that the president can pick and choose not to enforce or not to apply. So, this is where I say always look at your long-term options, especially if you're now afraid that you're going to lose your temporary status, because that's what's happening. We are seeing legal immigrants, which that was not supposed to be the issue, right? A lot of people were saying before the administration took over, a lot of people were saying, oh, you guys are just overreacting. They're going to go after the bad guys. They're not going to touch legal immigrants in this country. That's not what they're here to do. But we're seeing the opposite here. It's people who are law abiding, contributing to the United States, they went the right way and sought legal status through benefits granted by the government. They have, depended on the safety and security of the United States with their countries being in complete instability right now. Yet these are the individuals that are now going to face um, deportation. Frankly, they're going to become undocumented. Harvard students, now they're looking at becoming undocumented and subject to removal. So while I do anticipate, and I think I did see somebody say that they put a hold on it, so I'd have to check that out. But I do anticipate that the judges may put a hold on such retaliatory action against Harvard University pending litigation. So we'll have to see. But nobody's safe right now, and this is why I say move forward with your solutions. Don't because right now everybody is at risk. We are now seeing permanent residents. The latest news is a dedicated father of husband and father was going into his citizenship interview, and they said they found some discrepancies on his application, his green card application, and they have now detained him at ICE. So instead of getting his citizenship, he is now looking at being deported and losing his green card. So no matter what stage of the immigration process is, you need to show vigilance, you need to do your due diligence, you need to fully understand what's in your background and what the risks are that you face if you're gonna apply for anything or if you're gonna travel. Because I would say at this point, nobody is safe. Alright. Plenty of crucial DS-260 errors. I notify the embassy prior to interview. Will this cause me an issue? So if you make a move to make those corrections, that's definitely going in the right direction. I don't know what what these errors, and it's best to talk to your attorney to make sure that this is being done properly, that you're fully discussing the errors can possibly have an effect on you. But if in most cases, once you go ahead and make corrections, show it's a typographical error. And in some cases, even if there's information that at first was not true, but before the officer identified it, you made a correction or disclosed that information, then that should not be held against you necessarily. So, it just depends though on what those corrections are. If you have a 5-year work permit under VAWA, does that mean no interview is required? No. It it just means that you get your 5-year work permit while they adjudicate your application. But it does not mean that, for example, I have an upcoming interview with my client, and she has her 5-year work permit, and she has her 2-year VAWA work permit as well, um, because she got approved for VAWA, but we still have a green card interview to attend. So, no, it does not mean that you won't get an interview. My I-130 has been approved on the 12th of May, 2025. Congratulations. How long will it take to approve my I think this is I-485? And I would say it's going to take I've seen now, keep in mind, I don't control processing times, I just go based on my own experience, and you're looking at about 4 months to 12 months, just depending on whether they are going to go ahead and do an interview. It's likely they are gonna do that now. They are gonna review your social media accounts. They are going to, go through a process of fraud detection again that can cause lengthy wait times for the final interview. So I would say give a little time, maybe 4 to 12 months before you can get a decision on that, and you may get to an interview first. Married to a US citizen as an F1, 4 months now, but we stay at a different state because of work and school. Should we file now? Um, so I would say I cannot tell you whether to file now. I would say work on your papers as soon as you know you qualify. However, the timing of when you file is gonna be dependent on what's going on in your marriage right now, and how much evidence do you have to show bona fide marriage. Sometimes you can't you live apart for things like this, work and school. But I say this, it can cause a lot of tension and in the interview if you do not disclose that from the start, or you are not prepared to discuss why you're living apart. I that you are living apart, where you need to make that very, transparent. You need to be transparent about that because that question can come up, and I have seen where depending on how you answer the question, it can go left and they can deny. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for that question and those issues. Another way to make sure you can meet the bona fide uh, standard of showing your bona fide marriage is real is by showing the other ways that you're planning your lives together despite living in different states, showing it's temporary. For example, you may be close to graduating. Maybe you're looking at places together to move into in the next couple of months after graduation, possibly. Maybe you're looking for jobs, so you need to also um, shore up the evidence on that side. But talk to your attorney. Your attorney is going to be the best resource, and they're going to know your case best. What can I do after an appeal for a removal order? So at this time, you'd have to wait to see if they're going to adjudicate the appeal. Five in advance, have SSN, CO9, which is a work permit category. Before file VAWA, got prima facie. How long to wait for a next response? So I would say the entire process takes 2.5 to 3 years. So as long as you have your work permit, it gives you a period of stability while you wait for the decision. So that is a good thing. But I would say from the date it was filed, you're looking at about 3 years. That can change too based on, how long things are taking. They're not adhering to the rules they agreed to. Yes, I agree. They did deport some immigrants who were not from South Sudan to Sudan, which is on the brink of civil war right now. And a judge had said that they cannot do that. So we have to see how the courts are going to enforce this and how the courts are going to react to blatant disregard for their orders. That's why everybody we are going into a constitutional crisis. I think we are going into a full-fledged confrontation between the judiciary branch of the government, those are the courts, and the executive branch. I don't see how that is unless the judges yield and they start to acquiesce acquiescence to the demands of the Trump administration which would be very scary. We'd be in trouble then, if they did that. But unless they do that, there is going to be a confrontation between the courts and this executive branch. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. All right, just looking for questions. Eligibility notice was mailed. VAWA case. What does this mean? I'm not sure what the eligibility. If it might be your prima facie notice that they're referring to, but I'm not sure. We had our I-45 interview 16th of May. We have not heard anything from them, but the I-130 was approved. So that's a good sign. I-130 was approved. If the I-45 was not, they may need some additional information before they go ahead and approve that. But I would say getting the I-130 approved is a big deal. I know it can be anxiety provoking with a pending I-45 decision. That may mean that they have found something that they want more information on. and that may be why it's taking longer to make a decision on that. Sometimes they don't update the I-485, by the way. Sometimes they don't update that that has been approved, and then you end up getting the green card, and that's how you can tell. So that's another thing. I have my asylum case pending, my final hearing. Do I stand the chance of being deported? So whenever you have a final hearing, it does mean that you are on the hook, right? It means that if you are not granted asylum or withholding of removal or CAT, you can possibly be deported or granted inter departure. That could also be a better case scenario. But the individual hearing is going to be very important because that's where the judge is going to make that decision. I'm having issues getting my SSN number, social security number. I was told DHS flagged it. Who else is going through this? So I now if they flagged it, what's happened? I don't know if this is a situation with yours, but there are certain immigrants where um, they have ordered Social Security Administration to put those individuals as dead in the system so that they cannot use their Social Security numbers. I believe this was happened to about 6,000 immigrants. I don't know if that's the case with you, but that is what I have heard. I don't if did they flag it because your work permit is no longer valid? Did they cancel your work permit? Did they give you a denial and now you can't use your social security number? That is also something. So we'd have to understand your facts here. So I can't be deported without appearing before the court. No, wrong. You keep in mind that once the court issues a removal order in your absence, that can be very bad. So that's when they can pick you up and then remove you, or as soon as they find you, they're gonna remove you. So yes, the judge can issue a removal order if you do not show up here, and that happens many times. Some people have removal orders and they don't even know about it. So be very careful about that. I filed for asylum. I'm also married to a US citizen, but I never filed for any I-130. So it depends on you filed for asylum, but you're married to a US citizen, so you need to evaluate your options to move forward with an I-130. The crucial facts that we would have to understand here is how did you enter the United States? And when what is the asylum based on? So give us a call, start with an initial evaluation, and then get an appointment with our attorneys so that we can determine whether that is can be a faster option for you. Okay, so you came through the border. That would no, the I-130, filing the I-130 you're not prohibited from filing an I-130. Um, and I'm talking to Pet. You're not prohibited from filing an I-130. An I-485 may be a problem if you came through the border. That's the adjustment of status to get to the green card, but you must file a I-130 petition first. So get in touch with us. Let's talk because it gets a little more complicated, and the advice that we give you on a personalized basis is really going to depend on the facts here. Okay, so the Social Security office told me that they're waiting on DHS to verify me, but it's been 2 months. So I am seeing some complaints about this. We haven't experienced this, but it could be a possibility we'll see this in the future if it's a pattern. And really, this comes down to advocacy before the Department of Homeland Security to see if they can go ahead and notify Social Security office so you can get your social security number. Um, all right, so now I'm going on to YouTube, Facebook. Put your questions in the comments so I can answer it. T application sent spring 2024, I-765 receipt notice from November. Status only reflect received since then. So yes, it is a pattern right now. Things are going slow. And right now, processing times are going over a year and a half. And now I'm seeing some of my colleagues even saying 2 years, that their applications are taking up to 2 years. So, this is not out of the ordinary, I would say, unfortunately. Did you get VAWA case approved recently? Could you tell us when you submitted? Even I know that each case is different than other cases. So yes, we have gotten VAWA approved, and it took about 3 years for the approvals that we've gotten without an interview, and now we're just waiting for the green card process for those that just got approved. Uh, I have a question. Will USCIS investigate a person's second marriage for USA spouse visa if she is previously married in USA and she doesn't have a green card from the first marriage? So, if you were married to someone in the past and you never applied for permanent residence. You got divorced and then now you're remarried to a US citizen. Um, they will always look at your past marriages. They, one, want to make sure it's terminated, and sometimes they will look at that to see, are there any inconsistencies? Is there any new information that could possibly lead them to determine there's an inadmissibility or that there's fraud involved? Absolutely, they can look at the previous marriage, and they do. They do look at the previous marriage, but in cases where you disclose that previous marriage, but you never had submitted a green card application, there's really not much there, right? As long as your current marriage is not fraudulent, and the previous marriage, there's nothing that shows fraud, immigration fraud there, then I would say it should be fine. But if you have doubts, this is where you definitely need to reach out and get the advice of an attorney. You can always give us a call and do the initial evaluation and then schedule time to talk to our attorneys. After I received I-797C EAD renewal through pending VAWA, I went to the DMV to renew my driver's license, but they rejected my application. They asked me for I-797A form. What can I do? So the automatic extension on your EAD should be enough. And in this case, sometimes it's about educating the people at the DMV to show them that an automatic extension applies to your work permit. So if you did not, if because the I-797C receipt notice has the automatic extension on it. I sent, let me see. I sent EAD renewal through pending VAWA. My current EAD category is C09P, and I received receipt notice, but class category in it is C31. Does this mean they're working on my case or just wrong receipt notice? So here's where you definitely need to talk to your attorney. I'm not your attorney and I can't give you particular legal advice, but if you're looking for the work permit while you wait for the VAWA to be approved, it would not be C31. C31 only happens after your VAWA petition is approved, which happens at the 2.5 to 3 year mark. So that definitely could be a problem here. Um, that has, and it may have to be corrected by immigration. Um, if or if you put the wrong category, that could be a problem too. All right, so now I'm on Instagram and then I have to head out. So thank you so much for your time and enduring the technical difficulties I had. Before I get to questions on Instagram, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, because that's how other people are going to know that I can be here as a resource. Make that you do that also, because when I come on, you'll get notification when I come on, so you can join me and ask your questions as long as you're available. All right. Now it's 210 days and work permit not coming. What do I have to do? So that is, believe it or not, 210 days sometimes is not out of the ordinary. It just depends on the case type and what's going on in your particular case. Okay, so asylum. So yeah, so asylum is usually on time at 180 days. So you might have to contact them to let them know that it's past processing times. Can I ask you about my social security and work permit? Go ahead, put your question in the comment. How long does it take for an I-130 to be approved? Married to a U.S. citizen, consular processing, 9 to 12 months, may take even a little over a year. Priority date was March 2024. So yeah, I would say expect a decision anytime now. How can someone contact NVC? So go to the Department of State website. Then they have a section for the National Visa Center. Usually you have to do it through their inquiry form. So they have an inquiry form where you can submit, information or questions that you have. In both, I got married last December. I'm still maintaining my F1 status. Can I go ahead with EOS or hold on? Because it's overwhelming with Trump's immigration reforms. I would say don't let fear stop you. You could miss your chance. Right now, these are, keep in mind, these are not immigration reforms. Immigration reform would be happening through Congress. So these are executive actions which do not override the law that's in place now. I would say take action now. My clients who heeded my warnings a year ago, I was talking about Project 2025 and the possibility of Trump winning again and what was to come. My clients that heeded my warnings and went with their processes are winning because they took action then, right? But it doesn't mean it's too late. Do it now, because when changes come, it means that if the change is negative, that you would be in a better position, right? So I would say, what is there to lose? What we're seeing is that nobody is off bounds, right? Everybody can be a target under this administration. So what do you have to lose? The best thing you can do is follow the law and go and get your papers that you are qualified to get. The law is there to say if you're married to in your case, you're F1. I don't know if yeah, you're married. So don't let that stop you. Under the law, you qualify to get your papers through your spouse, right? And if you're not doing anything wrong, you're not violating the law, you're actually following the law by applying for adjustment of status, then what do you have to lose? So I say take action now. But in order to ensure that you're taking the right action, here's where you get in touch with an immigration attorney. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to facilitate solutions. So don't wait. Get on it. Get legal advice. Get legal guidance and representation, and move forward. Case was transferred to judiciary office. How long does it take to be approved? I'm not sure about what a judiciary office is. I'm a little confused about that. Is it possible to file for citizenship if you lost your green card? The card is still valid and report has been made. Yes. So I have done that for my clients and everything went fine. My son got married to a US citizen last year, October. She recently put him out and said she's going to divorce him. He's on a visitor's visa. What can he do? Get in touch with us. We help our clients in cases like this where the spouse mistreats them. If the spouse mistreats them and does something like this, throws them out, then we can evaluate that, confirm they qualify for a special solution where they can apply for their own green card if that spouse is mistreating him. So yeah, he needs to call. The number is going across the screen at the bottom of the screen I'm on. Call that number, or you can go to the link in the description of the video, go to the link in the profile on TikTok and Instagram. Click on that, you will see the website. Click on the website, and you'll be able to see the phone number and a form that you can complete to get in touch with us, or we'll get back in touch with you. So you get in touch with us with your information, and then we'll call you back. This is a safe space. So it's confidential, and we have many ways for you to get in touch. We're also 24/7. So that means that you can call right now and you will get us the answer and we will start working towards helping you. So get in touch with us ASAP. Please, do you prepare documents to come to America? Yes, we help you represent clients to come to America. Absolutely. So give us a call. Thanks for answering my questions. But my lawyer keeps telling me that C31 is the right category. I typed C09 on I-797 renewal because I was married to an American citizen. So this is very specific. And I think you definitely need to either really have a kumbaya with your attorney and and have your attorney clarify why it's correct, or get a second opinion. My decision about my but that needs to be done in a confidential consultation. My decision about my asylum was granted without removal. Congratulations. See, that is an example of a successful case. Things are still moving forward, but it's not gonna move forward if you don't take action. My I-751 case update case is ready to schedule for interview 2 months before will the case be approved. You have to go through the interview first. When you see that, it can be there for even up to a year stating waiting for interview. So just start to prepare, make sure you have all your updated information, make sure you're ready and prepped for the interview because once you have an interview, they're gonna make the decision after the interview. I-130 approved, married to a green card holder. How long does that take? 9 to 12 months, even maybe a little over a year. VAWA 1,185 days. How soon can I hear from USCIS? So it can take 3 years and even more on the USCIS website. So it can be a while. But if you have your work permit or you have your prima facie, that can help to make things a little better while you wait. I passed N400, but no decision because I-751 pending from 2021. So yes, that it is frustrating. I-751 does take a while. Okay, can you hear me now? Hopefully you can hear me again. Let me know on YouTube. So let me know on YouTube. Can you hear me again? Uh, um, I think it was on mute. No sound. Okay, so you can hear me. Okay, good, good, good. All right. All right, good. Okay, thank you. So I'm having some real trials and tribulations with this mic. So I'll make sure that that's not the issue tomorrow. I'll make sure that my mic is ready and prepped for tomorrow. For now, I'm going to head out. Thank you so much. Yes, it's a little distorted. Tomorrow we'll have a better day. Thanks again, everybody, for your time and for these great questions. You have all great questions, and I'd love to get to them, but I'm going to stop tonight, and we'll come tomorrow. So if I didn't answer your questions, please hold on to those. Follow, like, subscribe. Come on, you'll get notification I'm on, and you can ask those questions. We are here 24 hours a day to answer your call. So if at any point of this day, if you're up because you can't sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning and you've decided you need to take action, you want solutions, give us a call and the staff will be able to help you to get. First, we do a free initial evaluation and then we schedule a strategy session with our attorneys here. Those attorneys work very closely with me. So go ahead and do that in the meantime because we're here about approaching um, this very difficult time with a solution oriented mindset. So have a great day, everybody. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.